Hi, folks, and welcome to the Irish Wrestling Podcast, where today we are going to be discussing Scrappermania weekend. Joining us here, as always, we have Liz. Correct me on this: the 5-time Booker G, Jerry Rush.
Booker G 5 times, you know it.
Queen Lizzie, as always, handing over the reins to myself to do the intros. I know I'm not doing it any justice. Back once again is Wrestling Mobs, Mark O'Brien. Great to have you back, Mark.
Thank you very much for having me.
And the man who needs no introduction whatsoever, but we're going to give him one in anyway, the hardest working referee in all of pro wrestling, Mr. Niall Foxy Fox.
Thank you.
Last time I saw him, he was face down in Justy's crotch. And I'm going to give that no context.
Let people take from that what they will.
It's the new hairdo. It's affecting everyone.
Oh, yeah.
In fairness, who doesn't want to be face down in Justy's crotch either? So, just let that one hang there.
Yeah.
Anyway, as I said, we're going to be talking about Scrappermania today. So we don't have an awful lot to go off, but we do have a pretty big weekend going back to Wolverhampton, Dublin, and Belfast again. Mr. Cabray sending us around the ringer, or Mr. Fox, should I say, going around 3 cities again. Yep. But yeah, let's first talk about the elephant in the room. It was meant to be Moxley over. Obviously, that didn't happen.
No.
We won't delve into that too much, but we did get 2 replacements in return. Mr. Eddie Kingston, who is shit hot right now, and we have Pac back. What do you guys think of the replacements? Happy?
Yeah, delighted. I'm literally, I've said it before on the wrestling podcast. Pac is one thing, unbelievable, but Eddie Kingston, I just want Eddie Kingston to be in my life. Do you know what I mean? That's how much of a fan I am of Eddie Kingston. I want him to be sat on the stoop outside my house and to beat up whoever calls me names. That's the impact that Eddie Kingston has on me. I just think he's phenomenal, and there's still so much more to come for him. So I am buzzing, especially with how hot he is right now, for what's to come. Scrappermania weekend, over the moon. As I said, Pac, you're never going to get a bad performance out of him, but my heart is 100% with Eddie Kingston. I cannot freaking wait.
Yeah, I'm delighted. I haven't seen Eddie Kingston. I know he's been over a few times before, but I've never actually got a chance to see him live, so I'm excited to see him in person. The way things are going with him AEW at the minute, obviously he's quit the company, but obviously going for Ring of Honor. So whether, I'm not sure what they're going to do with him there, but he's the talk of the town at the minute. He's giving out about AEW, so he may get some AEW promos off him while he's over. He may talk shit about AEW while he's there, so we might get some exclusives for OTT. I'm not sure if there's going to be any AEW title belts on the line this time, but we might get some other things that might lead into AEW or a Ring of Honor in the future. But I'm always delighted to see Pac going at it because he's fucking phenomenal. I got to see him in Cork and against Mike Bailey, which is fucking
unbelievable,
crazy match. So yeah, I'm excited. Obviously, it's not Moxley. Moxley's a big name. He came from WWE. But I'm pretty happy not to see too much blood either on person. I don't want to be splattered by Moxley's blood.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have to go get tested after that. That's now or never.
Yeah, I think we will. I think one of the good things coming out of this, and for people who may have been disappointed, is Mox really wanted to get over as well. So I think although some people are probably pissed off at this stage, even the thought of it, because it's been such a red herring, or it just hasn't happened, or it's caused disaster. But I'm presuming that he will get over at some stage, whether it be this year, next year, the year after, whenever. But I'm sure that we will get him over. But let's jump in and have a look at the cards. So we only have 2 matches announced for Wolverhampton so far. Davey Richards against Dan Maloney, which I think was the first one put out back at the start of February, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people looking forward to this one. I don't know as much about the 2 boys. I know a little bit, but from what I'm hearing, they're 2 big hard hitters. A lot of expectancy around this one. And our other match then, Sammy D against Trent for the NLW Championship. What's the thoughts on those 2? We'll fly down to Mark there. 2 matches in Wolves.
Yeah, I suppose the first thing that jumps out for the Sammy Trent match is like I know you rarely see in wrestling these days people holding 2 titles for long, so it's kind of curious to see Sammy defending a title before challenging for a title the following day. So that makes me curious to see is Trent going to win a title in his hometown, and the Friday night is a big kind of feel good moment. That's the first thing that kind of stands out to me. And then Dan Maloney, if anybody's kind of familiar with Progress TNC or even Rev Pro lately, he's been really, really hot. He's teasing facing Will Ospreay a lot recently. Gideon Gray, the Great O'Khan, and a number of others over in Rev Pro have been going out of their way to kind of put him over as a talent and as a threat and potential face of the company going forward, or their brand rather. I'm really, really excited that. I know Davey Richards has almost reinvented himself since he came back to MLW after he took a time away to kind of go back studying and work in medical field for a while. But for a while, he was recognized as the best wrestler in the world. And they kind of do have 2 similar-ish styles. Both are dynamic, both are incredibly hard-hitting, and both are very technical. Makes me quite jealous that I'm not traveling over for it. So no, I think I was chatting to you midweek, Colin, about this. I actually am. I'm really, really excited for that to drop onto demand. I hope so. I'm hoping Matthew Macklin has his working boots on and has that up the next day for me.
Well, it won't be next day, but like
I
you'll
know,
definitely get it as soon as
You
possible.
never know. He'd be on the plane finishing it off.
It actually wouldn't surprise me. Like,
Yeah,
really
exactly.
wouldn't. Like, fella's a wizard.
He
Yeah, I'm
has
excited
actually
for-
done that before. Like we've
Yeah.
been on the flight and he's already planned out how he's going to edit the show, which is crazy.
Crazy.
He's a legend.
Oh boy, that doesn't surprise me. Sammy and Trent though. Trent essentially booked himself into this match. It appeared at the last show. How is he getting away with this? I know he's Trent and all, but like, what a way to get your spot on. Let's just have a #1 contenders match. Definitely the 2 boys have had a bit of a war. They've had their 2 teams per se, the Wolves and the Draw. So I think it's going to be good to see the 2 of them go 1-on-1. But very interesting for Sammy. It's shaping up to be a big weekend for Sammy. Like that's a big match on the Friday before he has the OTT Championship match on the Saturday. So, that one could definitely take a lot out of him. What are the predictions around the room, guys, for those 2 matches?
Go for it.
Crikey. Well, look, I'm down with Sammy D. Yeah, you know me, right? So I'm backing my man to the hilt for Friday Saturday. Give him all. He's taking them all. I don't care. This is Sammy's weekend. This is Sammy's year. Trent isn't going to put a dent in it. It's Sammy's. That's just my opinion. But I think it's Sammy's year.
Yeah, I probably go for Sammy as well. Like it is going to be a big weekend for him. Like, you know, he's on the cusp of being the guy for OTT, and he's been, you know, working hard his ass off for the last few years to get to that level. And you know, I won't give a prediction for Dublin, like, but yeah, definitely think he's going to be Trent. Maybe not too cleanly, but I definitely get the win over him. Dan Maloney and Davey Richards. I'm excited for that one. I actually interviewed Davey Richards a few weeks back, and he was telling me that he actually helped train Dan Maloney years ago when he was just a little pup before he put on all the weight and became a hard hitter. So he's looking forward to that one. He hasn't been in Wolves since he invented the American Wolves in a hotel room looking out over the Wolves Stadium. That's where he came up with a name for the tag team, which is great as well for him to go back to Wolves now. They have that match against someone he trained, which is huge for him to do that OTT. You know, he's been at many companies. He could have, you know, gone back and done it with any company in the UK, but he's doing it with OTT, which makes it even bigger for OTT. So I'm not too pushed on who wins that, but I think Dan Maloney will go over in that one. I'm not sure what the plans for Davey is for Dublin yet, but I think Dan Maloney will get that one.
Foxy?
I'm personally excited for that. Like Dan Maloney and Davey Richards, like, because as you said before, like very similar styles. Like both are hard hitting, but they're very dynamic, and like can fly as well. They can certainly move around the ring and be as technical as they need to be. But it could definitely go either way. Either way, we're in for absolute treat. That's for sure. In regards to Sammy and Trent, again, the streak, the run that Sammy's been on is unreal, but also let's not forget about the run that Trent has been on since coming back to OTT. Like he's been putting on match after match after match, and like they're really fucking good. Like so to see these two actually finally go at it, like this is gonna be a really good one. Like it's gonna be something else, and I feel bad for anyone who's gonna miss it. So
Thanks,
Yeah.
Foxy.
Yeah, on that one as well. Like, I think with like Trent was due to face Moxley for that as well, and he probably had the option of facing Eddie Kingston, which would have been the easy swap in main event, and it probably would have sold the same amount of tickets for Wolves. But the fact that he's chosen to probably main event against Sammy for a title in his hometown, it kind of leads me to think that Trent might win. Just as I say, it was a bit curious kind of booking himself, Collins. So yeah, I'd be probably leaning towards that way.
Yeah, for me, I couldn't call Davey and Dan. I don't really know enough about them. But Sammy and Trent, for me, it's the Amari factor is still at play there. I think something that people aren't talking about. Like Amari's not gonna want Sammy to leave there with the NLW Championship, so I can see some sort of hokiness going on there, and maybe Amari costing Sammy the belt there going into Saturday. But we move on to Dublin. Dublin's a bit more stacked with 6 matches announced. So we'll try not to waste too much time on each of them. But like there's so much going on. So we think, although it's not officially announced, that we're gonna get Jay against LJ for the GN championship. Just briefly about them. Two of the pillars of Irish wrestling post pandemic. Two of the best in the country. Definitely like putting their stamp on everything. That's going to be a showcase of Irish wrestling, in my opinion, with them two, and I think it's great to see those two in that spot. But on the women's side, we have two of the biggest women that this country has ever seen, Debbie Coitel and Seshmat Martina. This one is interesting, guys. I want to get opinions on this. So I think this one's going to be hot, and I think the stadium is going to be pretty split on this one. So that's why I think it's going to be interesting to get opinions here. How do you see this one playing out?
It's kind of like you're bang on. It's going to be really, really tough to call it, and that stadium is absolutely going to be split because there's going to be stupendous spots in that match, and the girls are going to give it everything. They just won't give a shit. And especially the dynamic between the two of them, because they've been tagging recently as well for outside promotions as well. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see where that lands them in the ring, because they are two stalwarts of Irish women's wrestling. They really, really are. So I think Debbie's still going to retain, but that's my opinion. But I don't think the crowd will necessarily care who wins this match. They will be 100% behind whoever wins. That's going to be a hot crowd for that. I actually cannot wait to be there. That's going to be goosebump worthy.
Yeah, I'm the same. I can't wait for it. It's not very often. Like we see Martina loads of times. Like most of the time we've seen her, she's been in intergender matches fighting other lads or in tag matches with. So it's nice that she actually get a title match. This title match. I'm not sure. It's been a while since she's held that title, or she's had a match with Debbie, a one-on-one match. I'm not sure how long it's been, but man,
she'll bring a different
the atmosphere
to that match.
The atmosphere for that match. I'm not sure where on the card or on the night it'll be, whether it's before the intermission or maybe even kick off the show with it. Like it's got a big match feel, like where it should be placed in a good spot to get the crowd hot for the rest of the night. Like, but I think they're going to steal the show, to be honest.
Very much so. I agree with that one in terms of I like the way how they've been kept apart for so long as well, leading up to, which is kind of naturally built to, oh shit, they're in the same ring together. Oh my God. And there's no convoluted storyline. It's very simple, just around, I have the belt. This means I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. Like the way they've kind of done face-offs and stuff, something just occurred to me a few minutes ago. I was listening there. I'd love to see like a promo package. Do you remember the Rock and Stone Cold My Way package. I'd love to see that, something like that. But for the two of them, that's that kind of dynamic. Like they're both pillar A, pillar B, and like who's
You
A,
think you're
who's B.
special?
Yeah. That's exactly. And then the next thing, no, then one punch, and then suddenly it's on. And like the fact that they've been kind of like, see, I wish there was like another small show just before, like on the Friday night, like they did the SmackDown before Mania 17, where they finally came to blows, something like that, just to kind of get it to a crescendo level. But yeah, I like the build. Like myself and you've kind of, Colin, taught it a few times, but like how it's Martina's less session moth and more Martina, and it's very direct and serious, and like that makes it all the more special. And it's very much like it's competitive. Yeah, that it's the nature of the match is based around competitive nature, or competitiveness rather, and who's the better of the two. And sometimes wrestling doesn't need to be glossy or over the top or have too many shenanigans. Sometimes it could be simple and special like that, and I think it's gonna be brilliant. And like you said, Jerry, I think it should be either starting or possibly the match just before intermission, because I don't think the crowd will probably need a breather after whatever stage it comes in at.
Yeah, I think it was so simple how they got to it. And I think that just says so much. There was no, as you said, Mark, no convoluted story. There didn't need to be much in it. It was literally after a match, Debbie saying that she was the best in the country ever, and Martina saying, fuck no, you're not. And like in 30 seconds, the crowd was they just wanted it so much. And like it didn't need to be anything special. It was literally just the two of them in the ring saying, I'm fucking better than you, and we're gonna go to war and find out over it. And I'm just so hyped for that one. I think a lot of people were talking about like women imports coming into the country and how they were going to get in for Debbie and stuff for Scrapper, but I don't think that we could top this. Like I don't think anyone could be brought in to get this feel, like this homegrown vibe that we have. And again, I can see a proper split stadium for this one. Like this is gonna be electric, and getting kind of goosebumps thinking about it already. But yeah, we'll move on. And anyway,
before you move on, Foxy, are you reffing this match?
I don't know.
You can't ref this match. You teamed with Martina recently.
Oh, there you go. Look, that's a conflict of interest straight away. That is.
I know there's bias there, so yeah.
Surely that's a job for Pepe.
like I might have to switch out for that one, just so that there's no ifs, ands, or buts. Like, yeah, no, I mean, like, regardless, like that, like as you've said, it's definitely gonna split the crowd. We're gonna see, we've seen a serious Martina in these last few weeks, just for the lead up to this, and very simple premise, like, who's better? I have the belt. I want the belt. Come get it. Like, there you go. Match is made. Like, let's go. And the girls are gonna go all in to like put on the best match possible. So I can't wait. Like, I'm looking forward to watching that. So, whew.
I can see there being like a Rock Hogan moment at the start where they kind of face off, half the crowd Martina, half the crowd Debbie as well. Like, yeah, you can kind of get like goosebumps thinking about that now. Yeah,
they could literally stand there for 5 minutes and do nothing, and that crowd's gonna be electric.
Yeah.
No, that's the vibe.
That's wrestling.
Yeah. We have the greatest Italian wrestler of all time, Renzo Rose.
Yes, Colin.
Foxy's mate, and Ilya taking on Santino and the Sam. We didn't really know which way this one was going to go until last week, and when we found out that it was going to be a tag match. For me, I'm so happy for these guys. On a personal level, the three guys who kind of, I put a post up during the week about this, they uprooted their lives. They came over to this country with very little to train in wrestling, and to see their progression in just over a year to get to this moment where it's just so warranted and so wholesome to see it. and like their paths to get there. Like Renzo has lit the place alight. He's brought Ilya in with him as the hard hitting Serb. And then Sam has just become a people's champ, really. Like it definitely a show favorite. And then like just add, like, I think it gets forgotten as well. For me, it does. Like Santino's there as well, you know. So this one's gonna be fun. I think this is gonna be really fun. What do you guys think about the dynamics going on here?
Like,
What a cool moment for those three lads.
Yeah.
Like just to do it together as well. Like
Yeah.
I think before when you were posting that, Colin, we were chatting about it at the time, and like and like they couldn't be nicer guys. I know we're kind of breaking KV or whatever, but like they're all absolute lovely people. They go above and beyond for anybody. I'm so happy for them. Like, and I'm so happy it's not like Renzo with Ilya and Santino with Sam. The fact it's a tag match and they all get to have their shine and their own moment in a stadium as well. Like, I think it's going to be brilliant. And like they got to 3 Italians and a Canadian. So it'll be brilliant. Like the Impact Wrestling Director of Authority and 3 lads. I think it'll be an unbelievable moment, and like there's no doubt the crowd will be invested in every single second of this match as well.
This is a match where you're gonna have 3 fantastic talents, and then the added bonus is that we have Santino Marella. Like it's as much as like you've talked about like Renzo and Ilya. Like you gotta get props to like Sam. I mean, like he's finally made it and he's getting his stadium match, and what a way to do it! Like that is gonna be good. Like just for entertainment factor alone. Like,
Just a little tidbit there as well, just from speaking to him yesterday. He'll probably kill me for saying this. Well, maybe he won't, but I was asking him when he actually when he found out that he was getting the match, and he says same time as you. I was like, what do you mean? Like, and he says, like, when I saw it on Instagram. I was like, that's unreal. Like, could you imagine sitting there and seeing you get tagged in a post on Instagram and you just pop? Like, it's I love that. I just love that picture in that moment of him finding out.
Imagine him looking around just like, who can I hug? Who can I hug? Oh, I love that.
How do you think Santino's going to react to seeing the Sam in person?
I don't know.
I know
There's so much
therein
they
lies
could
the
do.
entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, obviously, he's going to bring out the Cobra. Like, what has the Sam got in his back pocket?
He's got a what's in the bag?
Yeah.
We'll have to wait till the National Stadium to find out what's in that bag.
Santino's doing some very good stuff in Impact at the minute as well. It's like his Director of Authority is very, very funny. If people want to catch it up for Scrapper next week.
Like people didn't go to Derry, so they didn't see the Sam throwing a reference towards Santino with his version of the Cobra. Like, so I would advise you if Derry is going to be, if it's on demand, like go watch it just for that match because it's fun, and if that's anything to go by, like like as I said, we have the added bonus of Santino Marella, so like who knows how to be funny and is very entertaining to watch. Like this is gonna be just I can't wait. Like that's
see his walk to the ring.
Oh, yeah.
He has to do the walk.
He has to.
We'll have a look at the other tag match that we know is announced. The draw against the Freshness. Bit of stuff gone into this. Obviously, the lads were given the gauntlet to run over the last few shows to make sure that they win to get that match, and then they had a match against the draw, which finished in a time limit draw. Very ironic. And then they got another 5 minutes and it finished on another draw. And I think Jay Money said it best that the draw is the best result that they can get out of these guys. But the stage is set for these 2 impeccable teams, to be fair, who've had a great run over the past few months. I love Charlie and Maxted. I love what they're doing. I love to hate them. But I think it's time for those belts to be passed, and I think the stage is set perfectly for the freshness to get that big moment, and I think like they've more than deserved that at this rate, in my opinion. Do we agree? Do we have any draw followers here who think they're going to retain? Looking at Liz.
Well, look, I'm saying not now, right? But but I have a very different picture as to how Scrappermania is going to end. But I will entertain you. I have a very, very different picture. But do you know what? You can't take it away from the freshness, because, like, look at what's after happening to them in such a space of time. You know, it's just like, and you know, when you're watching a team in action, and you can just tell that they just feed off each other so well. They have such a great dynamic, and they've got such a great chemistry and a balance. It's just, it just hits it. It really, really does. And you can just tell by watching them. So it's going to be a banger. It's going to be fabulous, but I think it may end slightly differently. But I wish them all the best.
I think what you were saying there about the chemistry that they have, I think Foxy and Mark will both agree with me on this. Those guys are such good friends outside the ring.
It shows, yeah.
But they're like, what you see in the ring isn't too far off what you get outside it. Like, they're two absolute jokers, messers. They're unbelievably funny.
Watch them in the airport. God damn it! Like, just leave them.
Ridiculous, incredible characters. But like that as well, when the work needs to be done, like they can get into business mode, you know. But like, I think that's that's such good dynamic, because they're so close to each other. They probably know each other inside out as well. So I think we're seeing that come across more in the ring as well. But yeah, it's good to see that Liz has her draw hat on here, and wants to see all the gold at the end of Scrapper, which I'm presuming is what she's alluding to.
I'm hoping we see them against Subculture for the third match on the Friday as well in Wolves, because it's one apiece each, and they kind of teased that at the end of the last Subculture freshness match. And those are my two favorite matches from the last two Wolves shows as well. So hopefully the two lads get a chance to face those guys again as well.
Those two teams, like, they have great chemistry together.
Yeah.
And as you said, like, the first two matches have been like just phenomenal. I mean, it was their first match over there, and it was the two boys that were standouts. Like, they were the ones to bring the crowd up because before that it was just people were sitting on their hands. They liked what they were seeing, but they just were quiet. Whereas, like, when it came to the match with Subculture and Freshness, like midway through the match, like, people are like, oh my god, like, they're actually like getting really into it, and from then on the atmosphere just changed. So it kind of like, it took them a bit of time, but after that it was off to the races now.
Yeah, I think if they do go over, the pop is going to be phenomenal as well for them. It'll be a you deserve it moment kind of thing, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
We look at the two big hitters now. That we got the announcement, Eddie Kingston against Damo. I just want to see these two kick the shit out of each other. And I think that's what we're gonna get. How Foxy's in there as well, so he can get in the way of an old chop here and there.
In a strange way, I kind of would want to, like,
Foxy sandwich, absolutely. My god,
just want to experience it. Like,
just one chop, or
I don't know.
Just do the Thatcher from the last time.
The target, just like
this one was it this side? Yeah, just put the target on your chest, like.
Yeah, hit me with your best shot. There you go.
Have they've never faced before, have they, in the past? Have they ever?
I think so. No.
Wow. Damon. No, not that I'm aware of.
Brilliant.
More history, so
totally.
Yeah.
But do you know what? Just two big meaty men slapping titties. It's just going to be something else, like, isn't it? It's just like you just can't.
There's nothing like it.
Shit, like.
Yeah, no, like I think Damo himself is kind of, people are almost comfortable with him being an OTT, and he's not quite as appreciated as
Yeah.
Yeah.
how good he truly is. I think he's unbelievable. Like every show I see him, I'm like, why is he not the champion? I think he's
What a mover.
yeah. I think everything he does is incredible. And you kind of watch him like, how is he ever let go from WWE? And you hear stories about how much he's helping people in all various different promotions backstage at all levels and stuff as well. So, delighted, like obviously with the Moxley match falling through, he's getting this opportunity. And then for Eddie, much like him facing Damo, I actually wanted to see him face Trent. Particularly after the last Trent LJ match and how physical that was. I thought Trent LJ or Trent Eddie Kingston could be equally choppy and meaty and slappy and that kind of wrestling. I'm kind of curious to see who he faces now. Like I know he was previously scheduled to face Leon Slater in Wolves for the last show before it fell through. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see who he faces.
I think it'd be a good dynamic because we have Bonesaw on the Sunday.
Yeah.
I think that's very similar to the Saturday match. Two big meaty guys. So I think it'd be good to see a different dynamic maybe in Wolves, just to see that different type of match. Rather than another big meaty guy in there with him.
But like, if you look at the card for Dublin now, how many people have appeared on AEW, including yourself, Foxy? LJ,
Wow.
Martina, Damo, Trent, Kingston, Pac. Who's next?
There's quite a few.
Yeah,
quite a few.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot of lads appearing on at least AEW Dark when they come over, but probably September time, I think is the word now. So, yeah.
And appreciate Demo while you have him, because if the rumors are true, he could end up going back to WWE pretty soon.
I'm surprised he's still here, to be honest.
I
thought he was gone the start of the year. I actually expected him to show up in the Rumble. I thought that was his calling, but it's great that we still have him. But as I said, appreciate him while we have him. We'll have a look at the main event now, guys. The big one. The most anticipated. I think it's fair to say the most anticipated match. And I know we were saying about Moxley, and I know a lot of probably the casuals would have liked to see Moxley, but I think the hardcores, the fans who are going to all the shows, I think even if Moxley was on the card, I still think this would be the most anticipated match.
Absolutely.
It's great to see again, like the Martina and Debbie match, it's great to see the electricity that this one is causing. And for me, I am a massive Amari fan. I love what he's done over the last few months. The only thing I'm disappointed about is on the promo side. And again, that's no fault of Amari's. I just think that he should have been given the option to have a mic more often. I think he should have been doing more promos. I think he's still young and will have plenty of opportunities to do that. But I think that was the only thing that was missing for me. But I think for me, I just can't see Sammy losing this one. And I think it might be Sammy's time to kind of take the reins. And I think he's been propelled into that position through booking and his own prowess as well to get to that position. Like he was our Irish Wrestler of the Year 2022, and there's a reason for that, the stuff that he's doing. But for me, I think it's Sammy all day.
The confidence when he came out at the end of the last show, the Road to Scrapper, he's almost transformed as a person and performer compared to what he was 12 months ago. He's just didn't wrestle, just came out in his shirt and trousers, said a few words, but that was as good as a match almost. It felt like a really big moment, and he seems to have just transformed completely into a mixture of Conor McGregor and MJF almost. Is that a fair comparison? Maybe. I'm finding it hard to kind of pinpoint exactly who he is, but I think he's magnetic now in OTT. Every time he's in the ring, he kind of commands your attention, be it on the microphone, during his entrance, in the ring, on the outside of the ring. I think there's very little doubt that he'll end up champion sooner or later, if not at Scrappermania.
Yeah, he's got a presence now about him where, like you said, he doesn't need to wrestle to cause chaos. He can come out and piss the whole crowd off, and everybody wants him to lose. But right, I think the OTT Championship needs to be on a heel. It needs to have the chase. It's going to be much more exciting with him as champion and everybody trying to get at him. Now that he has this opportunity to take on Omari, I think it's definitely his time to do it, and I think OTT will benefit massively from him leading the way as well as champion.
Oh God, yeah, definitely. You don't even have to ask me. You know what I think anyway, because OTT, your daddy's home. Finally, it's about time, and I am just not mind even the match. I just can't wait to see him raise up the title. Don't mind what's going to happen before, because all of the positive energy, all of the positive energy is out there, and yeah, it's Sammy's night. It's his time. Everything has clicked. Everything has just slotted into place, and now he just needs to be sepulted into the stratosphere with the OTT title. Simple as.
So I know you mentioned there, just while we're on the subject briefly, you were mentioning, Jerry, that and Mark was saying that like it needs to be on a heel, it needs to be the chase. It's Sammy's time or whatever, and I agree, but like we've also seen the dynamic slightly shift recently. The Draw, yes, they're a heel team, but like Sammy's kind of started to kind of move over a little bit, and we saw it at the last show where he told Omari, like, I want you at 100% going into Scrapper. He's told the boys to stay in the back. He hasn't looked for the help. Charlie actually came out and helped them, and he gave out to Charlie for coming out. So I think we're seeing that cool heel dynamic starting to kick in, and like I don't know. For me, I'm not sure. I'm very, very split on this, whether I want to see the cool heel or I want to see him stay full heel, like, because he's brilliant as a heel. Like, I love to hate him, but I think there's so many people getting behind him now that he's starting to transition into that cool heel, potentially even going into just a hard-hitting, I don't give a shit, Stone Cold Steve Austin type babyface.
No, never trust a snake, especially
freaking
the day after Paddy's Day when there's still a snake left in Ireland.
There's always one left in Ireland, boy. You know it. I wouldn't trust that cool heel.
Minus Santino's Cobra, like, but this is the real snake.
All you need is Barry White, and then there you go. You're sorted.
Great reference.
I'm already picturing 6 months down the line, the anniversary show. You kind of saw at the last show how much more serious LJ is almost portraying himself in ring as well. And I think 6 months down the line, you can imagine how big it potentially could be. Sammy, LJ as the main event, like two Irish wrestlers for the OTT World Championship. Yeah, I think I can, from where they were 12 months ago to where they could be for the 6 months down the line. Yeah, it could be incredible.
Absolutely. We do have a show on the Sunday. Although everyone is anticipating the climax on the Saturday, but these Sunday shows, and we'll talk to Foxy about this one, these day after shows are always unbelievable crack. Like, they're probably not as serious. They're definitely not like the electricity probably isn't there as much on the Sunday. Like, I think we've done them in the ringside previously, but like the crack at these shows, I think, is people don't tend not to go to these shows as much, and I don't know why, because they're probably more fun than the Saturday shows.
So for these shows, I think part of the reason for that is because the stress has been lifted, because all in the lead up to Stadium, everyone is borrowing nerves, figuring out what they want to do, where we're going, how's this going to pay out. Like everything has been planned out or otherwise, like, and it's just once Stadium happens, that's like, I can relax now. Wait, I have a show tomorrow? Let's have fun. And that's it. Like, that's what wrestling needs to be. Fun. Because you can have your big serious matches, but if you don't have something to counterbalance that, then you kind of stifle yourself as well, because you're just like constantly like stress. There's only so far you can go with that. Like, don't get me wrong, some people can like rise to that occasion and do that, and that's fine, but you still need that opposite in order to be like, like, here's a simpler match, no big storyline, just let's have fun. There you go. Now remember why I love wrestling. and that applies to all the wrestlers, like as much as those fans, like, because no matter how much you may like a wrestler, you don't want to see them do the same match every now and like every single time. You want to see them do something different. So the likes of with these Sunday shows, like it allows wrestlers to let their hair down, actually have a bit of fun with either trying something goofy, like bit of comedy or slapstick, or like someone who's so probably a comedy wrestler trying something very different and being a serious wrestler. Like it's like we just switch roles all of a sudden, but that's what makes it so fun. Like wrestling is good.
Absolutely, and we do have the two matches there for that one announced so far. So as we said already, Eddie Kingston against Bonesaw, and Davey Richards against LJ, which I think is going to be probably a technical masterclass. That LJ Davey match, I'm really looking forward to that. And then I think we're probably going to get, as you said, we're going to get those fun matches. I anticipate the Sam doing something about Hokey, or Martina coming out hungover as she did at the last show, I think, with the Reese, wasn't it? They were on the sesh all night, and it's just stuff like that. Again, they just make those shows so much better. So if you're in the Belfast area or you want to travel, I can't recommend them highly enough. I love the shows after the stadium. But anything else that we need to add before we
who
finish
does
up?
everybody think Pac is going to face in Dublin?
Yeah, I'm very curious because I would have assumed Jay or Martin or Fabio. I think because of its somewhat late announcement, there'll probably be somebody like Derice or Michael Oku, maybe. Be the type of, well, maybe Niall knows.
No, I've no
Alright,
clue.
sorry.
I'm not even joking. Like I have no clue whatsoever. I'll find out on the day.
Yeah. Just based on who's available. Or
I'm about 75% sure it's going to be Trent.
You think?
Okay.
Yeah, it's the only other name that I think could make sense, unless it's in a multi-man match.
Yeah.
Because I think it's the only thing that we're missing is that kind of big multi-man match. Because I know Joe loves to do one of them on a stadium show just to kind of get everyone into the match as well, and to give them that run out. But if it is going to be a one-on-one, I can't see anyone else apart from Trent. I was having to think about it, and I just don't think anyone else is there that I can think off the top of your head.
I'd love RKJ.
Richards. There's no plans for Davey Richards for Dublin either, so maybe I would like to see them two go at it. I'm not sure if they've had a match recently.
I don't know what again with two, they're both contracted talent to two different promotions, so I'm not sure how that would play out. Are they friendly enough, MLW and AEW to
Court Bearers not very hospitable to a lot of different companies apparently. But on that, like it kind of got my wheels. I off the back of the last show, do you remember RKJ pulled out late because of travel issues, but he was still appeared to progress that weekend. So I wonder if he'd appear should his travel issues be resolved in the matter of weeks. I'd like to see him against Pac. I think that could be very technical, fast paced, and hard hitting. Probably want that more than Trent, actually. Yeah. And then Davey Richards. I'd love to have seen Davey Richards against LJ, or he's against LJ. I'd love to see him against Martin maybe over the weekend. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get Martin Stairs in a singles capacity though. That's the only thing.
I know.
But now I absolutely get, like, I'd love to see that match as well. Yeah.
The detachment, Jerry and the lads, are they going to be around? Or?
Yeah, nothing about the detachment yet, and they have been on the last few shows, so it'll be interesting to see what comes there. I think that the next, what have we got? 2 weeks, roughly a week and a bit till the weekend. So
I'd love over the weekend to see Noah in the ring with Santino, just a standoff, just to see how that goes.
No, if that's gonna happen, I'd rather see him take the Cobra.
Just Billy looking down on him, or Noah looking down on him, and then
wide eyes Cobra.
I am the law. Yeah.
Well, it's a good place for lads to shine as well in front of someone like Santino, who has in management, in Impact, like you might be able to recommend people, like if people have their visa sorted for WrestleMania weekend. I know there's a few lads traveling over for it, like, so it might be a good way for them to show off their talent.
He's got eyes and ears everywhere, like.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be invaluable to the people on the show just to have him there. As far as I know, he's doing the 3 days as well. So just to have him in and around people, give everyone the opportunity to talk to him, pick his brain, and yeah, it's definitely an invaluable experience. As Foxy was telling us with the likes of Tom coming over and stuff for himself as well. Like it's the same with the wrestlers. Like, and it's just great that we have these talents coming over for these weekends. But shaping up to be a great Paddy's weekend. Unfortunate that we're missing Wolverhampton apart from Mr. Fox. So safe travels, Foxy. And we hope you enjoy it and you keep us up to date on all the goings on in Wolves after the show. But yeah, if you don't have his tickets, get them. There's still some tickets left for Scrapper and for the Sunday. The Fan Fest as well is something new, which I'm really intrigued by. That's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
Come and meet the stars. That's going to be. I'm presuming he's going to have a setup like a Comic-Con type thing with a few desks out, queues to meet each person or whatever. Like, but
I would imagine so. But it's been a long time since we've done something like that. I think the last time we done something was I think 2015, 16, like when we did WrestleCon.
Yeah.
All right.
That's when we had like Abyss, X-Pac, and a few others on the show, and we did the Q&A like beforehand and stuff like that. And same when we did one with Speedball, and I think we had Keith Lee. Like they were sitting in the ring with the likes of Martina and all that. Like,
I remember that
doing Q&As.
Yeah,
that was in the
KFC. Yeah.
So I think it could be very similar to that, where it's some sort of experience beforehand.
Yeah.
And then it'll lead into, okay, before the show starts. So
you might do something in the ringside club. I'd say that might be in terms of the stadium, where it'd be the best location for that. I'd say the ringside club probably have the most space, because that kind of front area where they normally do the meet and greets and t-shirt sales at the front. I don't know.
I'd reckon so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a boxing tournament. There was supposed to be a boxing tournament on the same day. I'm not sure if that's going to hit or not.
Oh wow.
They do have a separate boxing area, in a different building, so it might be in there rather than actually in the stadium. But like, even if it is, like, I know we've been there at shows before where the stadium has been used for something and then they swap out the ring then at whatever time. But like, we always have access to the ring side and stuff beforehand. But I know logistically, I'm sure that makes things a bit of a nightmare for Joe, and I just wouldn't like to be around Joe while all that's going on. So best of luck to anyone who gets in the way there.
Ireland are playing England at 5 o'clock in the rugby Grand Slam game as well. So I'd say people will be coming in late.
Oh,
shit. Give yourselves plenty of time to get to the stadium. But it's gonna be a good one. We're all gonna be there. Hope that anyone watching this is there as well and shaping up to be a great weekend. Just before we go, I just want to thank everyone for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Mr. Fox. Always great to have him. Mark, great to have you back again. Hopefully you'll be on for more. And Jerry and Liz, the king and queen of Irish wrestling podcasts, who hold this shit together and tell me that I have to host and have to do this cringy shit, like do the intros and the good boys and all, when I'm so uncomfortable doing it. If you can't,
my throat, so I couldn't talk much today.
But please everyone, like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you think, send us your predictions, like send us what you think as well, and we'll be putting something out on Twitter over the next day or two. Hopefully that will go out before the show actually goes out, so hopefully you'll see it. Send us your predictions, tell us what you think. We want to know what you think as well. But thanks very much for joining us here tonight, guys, and thanks for watching, and we see you at Scrapper and the next podcast.
OTT.